Hello and welcome to another how-to video. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, you're going to do it now, and we're going to sit here and wait for you to do that. Yeah, well then, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell notification for all our notifications for our weekly content. It's super important that you do hit the subscribe button, because there's more subscriptions equals more content. That is what drives us. And don't forget to put a comment below on any feedback, any questions, and we'll do our best to get round to them. So thank you to our channel sponsor Toshiba. As always, their hard drives are, in our opinion, the best you can buy. If you haven't experienced that Toshiba Touch, please do get in touch with DVS and we can explain what they are, what benefits they give, and more importantly, the cost saving they offer. What a fantastic thing to be involved in. My name is Ditech, the CTO of DVS, as always, and welcome to the channel. So what are we going to take a look at today? Well, actually, I'm quite excited by this one, because for those of you that are at the security event today, this week, come and find us, check us out. I'll be there along with all of the other external sales. Jake and Mike will be there. Andy Waters will be floating around. You'll see us, or you'll see them in their green t-shirts. I'll probably be in maybe a tweed suit again. But do check us out at the prestigious security event next week in the NEC in Birmingham. If you haven't registered, go and hit that registration link now on their website. Make sure you get your free 3-day pass. So, without further ado, we've been working with Hikvision now for 10 years, and over the last couple of years, one of the feedbacks on their modular IP intercom system, if you haven't experienced their modular IP intercom system, then you're missing out. What a fantastic bit of kit. Versatile, cost effective, lots of different interoperability in their modules. There's an intercom for every scenario and every application. Come to DVS and we will update you on what that looks like. It is a leading IP intercom product, but it has had a function that has been requested. So when I was on the tools, it was something I was always doing on the tools, but Hikvision have taken a little bit of time to get round to that. Other manufacturers have it, of course. It is that prestigious trade button function. Look no further. Hikvision have finally implemented that in currently a custom firmware, but it will become baseline in the near future. Now, there is a couple of things that we need to point out. Now, the trade button firmware is a custom firmware. So if you've already got custom firmware made by Hikvision for any custom scenarios you've had designed, then you need to speak to Hikvision on that, because you don't want to upgrade to this one to get the functionality and lose that customization. The rest of us, mere mortals, can use this firmware. It is available for the stainless steel and the 2-wire modular intercom, so the master station, this unit here with the camera on there, but we do have to have the B version. So what I've got in front of you guys here is the stainless steel B version, and then the non-B version here, and I'll bring the camera closer shortly. We don't currently have it for the older non-B. Most of our stock now is the B version. If you've got an existing installation that you really want to make use of this trade button, now it is probably something you are going to have to upgrade the master module there to the B version to do it. But we do have it for the stainless steel, non-stainless steel, so the graphite grey, the original version, and we do have it for the 2-wire Y version. So there's been recently an introduction for the Y version of the 2-wire intercoms, a hardware change, uplift, make the product more stable. For that version, we do have the trade button. Now, for those of you that don't know what a trade button is, it's simply a button you can program. So from a set time, and I'll transfer over to the PC to run through some of the highlights of this new firmware and the benefits it can bring, and more importantly, how to program the trade button. Now, the trade button function is simply this. Between certain times, so if you always have like a postman or delivery for the office at the same time, or you have collections, or there's tradespeople, so electricians, it could be bins, it could be people reading the meters, whatever that looks like. There's a whole host of reasons why the trade button exists. Traditionally, it would be a button on there marked trade. So as you can imagine, with our modular IP intercom system, we can simply add a trade button description to this. We just either type it in, print it out, or write it on this transparent label. When you press the trade button between the program times, it just simply opens the door. So if, for instance, like I said, the bins are always collected on a Wednesday between 9 and 11, program the trade button for that schedule. When they press said trade button, it doesn't call anywhere, it just simply opens the door. You have to be aware that anybody could press this trade button and the door would be opened. But that is what the trades button does. It's always done that, and it's a function that has existed in the UK for many, many years. Hikvision have now, after us pushing this for many years, have implemented it in the firmware that we previously mentioned. Now, to give you a demonstration of the button, I've already programmed this for a trade button function. So if I press this button here,
the door is open.
it simply opens the door. Now, previously on the standard firmware, there was no option to program the door or the trades button function to open between a scheduled time. That now exists in this firmware. And like I said, it is custom firmware, but it will become baseline in the very near future. Now, I want to talk a little bit more when we go back to the programming of the trade button, because that is important. But if I take the camera a little closer, and just set this up, apologies. Let's turn this light off, because whilst it's good for filming, we also don't want it disturbing the video here. So, 2 intercoms, B version, non-B version, and a quick update I really want to show to you guys on the differences is, obviously, differences is that's stainless steel and that's not. The stainless steel looks modern, adds more protection in my in my belief. Whilst the keypad is IK8 vandal resistant rating, this isn't technically vandal proof, but it is very, in comparison to this alloy, this is stainless steel, it's very hard wearing, so I would opt for this as a more robust solution. But the main difference is between the two cameras. You can look closely, the B module slightly wider and it's more prominent. There's a deeper edge to this. This is recessed, this is deeper. The cameras are slightly different. They've done a lot of work on the camera module to stop moisture ingress, so there's a much better protection for moisture ingress. The image is clearer, it's wider, it's more suited to the intercom application. So the B model has had a lot of work on this module to increase this camera, to increase the stability of it with the moisture ingress. Not that they suffered greatly with moisture ingress, but some people out there did suffer that. It has been designed with that function in mind to give that deeper stability. Better image, wider application, much better upgrade in this B module, and you can see they're slightly different. The audio is being addressed slightly, so in my opinion the audio is slightly clearer on the increased B model, or the uplift in the B module. But the main increase is around this camera module. So that's something I really wanted to point out in the differences between the B. So if you haven't got the B and you've got issues on the existing one, then it may be worth switching to the B version there. So again, all we do is type in trade button on there, and once I press that button,
the door is open.
It simply opens the door. We do have the functionality, so this indoor station is linked to this, so these are paired up effectively. This is the Android indoor station linked to HiConnect on my phone as a sort of mini demonstration system, which I'll show you in a minute. But with the Android stations, you can actually install 2 Android apps on top of this to give a deeper smart home application to your customer. We've done that several times. We've even had a Control 4 interface on there, which allows for a smart home operation from this Android indoor station. And again, there is a B version of this, adds more stability, faster, again, redesigned, sleek interface, user-friendly design. So I'm going to transfer you over to the PC now to show you the uplift and the benefits of this new firmware, because there has had some benefits added into it which weren't in there before, and when I've gone through and programmed it, it's stuff I really want to highlight because it adds value to you and your customer and your installation base. So I'm going to just transfer you over, and then we'll come back and show you. We'll change the time out of the trade trade button function. So currently it's in trade button schedule. We'll adjust the time on the intercom, which throws it out of trade, just to show you that it actually only works in the trade schedule, and then as the normal function, it would call the indoor station or the center or even the phone, etc. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so welcome. We're back over on my PC. The first thing to remember, with the B model intercom, it also gives us the functionality to now program this via the web interface. Previously, we had to use Hike Central or the IVMS 4200. As you can see, if I drag the IVMS 4200 client over, you can do it the old school way, add it in as a device and then use remote configuration. Perfectly acceptable, works all the time. And again, if I load this as an image, you can see that's the intercom there. So nice wide image. It's a 2 megapixel camera, nice wide image, H.264, and I set it at 4 kilobytes. Again, standard functionality. But what we'll do is minimize that. We're going to use the web browser. The B version gives that added flexibility. In my opinion, nothing better than programming something for a web browser. The great thing with the Hikvision intercom is you can do almost all of the programming deployment via the web browser if the product supports it. So again, we've got the live view functionalities here through the web browser. So again, we can do that. We can even open the door. There we go, and we can take snapshots, digital zoom, stream type record, etc. All of the standard functionality. But you know, the IVMS 4200, the Hike Connect on your phone, the indoor station, the web browser all supports full interaction with the product to give the customer the experience they expect. Again, going into the users, and this is where if you deploy users, I can add a user, add all of the details here. So we used to do this through IVMS 4200. Now we can do it through the add user functionality on the web browser. So you can add the user, scan their prox card if they've got a card. You can permissions now with the open a door 1 or door 2. This product allows you to have 2-door control, and you can now finally, another function DVS have been driving over the years, and again we are sort of the best in my opinion at driving this development and biggest R&D center out of all the other distributors in the UK for sure. We drive this innovation back through Hikvision, and one of the innovations we asked for, again, the web browser function, that's done, trade button done, and now the ability to assign a door to a code. Before it was always door 1, now you can assign, so if you've got a pedestrian gate and a sliding gate, that person may not have a vehicle, so when they scan the card, it only needs to open the pedestrian gate and not the sliding gate. So you can really narrow the application down. But again, going back to this, you can add the card, you can add the user, you can even assign the indoor station through the web functionality. Super powerful, super easy. If you know the Hikvision product, it becomes very easy to deploy this product using here. And again, I can just put employee number 1, David, oh gosh, terrible. Davis, just trying to again, user, always valid, access controller and administrator. I can go floor 1, room 1, which is the why is that saying invalid? I will try anyway. Take should be right, okay, take floor 1 room as an example. The room number should be 111. There we go, done. Fair enough. Okay, so add card. I'm gonna get my card out. It's a bit longer than I thought this video now, but let's do it anyway. So there we go, got my card here. I'm gonna click read card. I'm gonna go over and just scan it. No, I can't. I don't have a card reader attached to that. So there we go. If I had a card reader module, then I could do it. It doesn't have the TDM display with a built-in card reader, and I don't have a separate card module, but you get the idea, and it makes the video a bit quicker actually. And then again, I can choose door permission, door 1 or door 2. Door 2 is currently disabled, but we can enable that through the setup and just save it. Very simple. But okay, going on to device management. I've added the Android indoor station, simple as, through this device management. I've done a separate video on this. You can go and watch that. Click add, you type your password of the device you're adding, the indoor stations, or the outdoor stations, the substations, registration password. It's best when they're all defaulted. So when you go into SADP, give them all an IP address, and then you can just basically get the serial numbers, type the password of the unit you activated it. Registration password is the registration password we set in this device, which I'll show you in a minute. Serial number, IP address of the unit you're adding, floor and room number. Very simple. Sometimes you need to wait a couple of minutes to come online. If it doesn't come online immediately, don't get frustrated. Go and have a cup of tea, come back, and it should all come online. So more importantly, under the configuration, what have they changed? From all of the standard functionality that you've seen in other videos, and IMS 4200 can still provide this programming functionality, some of the stuff I really want to highlight is, again, through the web interface, we can add users now. Super simple. I'll just go through some of this. Arming, disarming information. It tells you what device has actually armed this IMS 4200 is running. I've added it to IMS 4200. That is what's armed the software. And again, Hike Central could be exactly the same. Through the network, not too much has changed there. Trying to think. Again, there's the video. By default, it comes as 720p. If you do upgrade or default it, it's worth changing that back to 1080p to get the best you can. And you can add this to an NVR. If you've got a Hikvision NVR, you can simply use the IP address of the camera module here, so 3.90, and just add it as an IP camera channel. Simple. And then you've got audio channel on camera 1, the input output volumes and speaker volumes, super simple. You've got your display settings. A couple of things they have added. Under the day-night switch, you can switch it to scheduled switch, auto, nighttime or daytime. Again, some areas, the light level doesn't increase or decrease enough for the camera to change to black and white mode and use the infrared, but you can force it. You can do daytime, nighttime, auto or scheduled switch, and then the sensitivity. Another great function, again, DVS have requested this several times, which I'll go back to. So day-night switch, you can do that. It's really handy. We get asked quite a lot of questions about that, actually. And again, sorry to go back. With this day-night switch, when it's in, there is another setting for backlight, which I'll show you in a minute. But in daytime or auto mode, and it's in the color mode here, daytime mode, the backlight for the buttons don't come on. Just to point out, they only come on when it's in nighttime mode. But now with this latest update, you can actually force the backlight on to highlight the product, and I'll show you that new setting shortly. So OSD, you can type in what you want in there and drag it around the image, and then if the image is too big, you can crop it out, enable it and crop this image out. If there's a privacy concern, crop the image down. Motion detection, yeah, we're not going to dwell on that. Video intercom. This is the trade button functionality that I talked to you about. It's really simple. Now, if I go to Hikvision UK portal UK, I just go here. This is where you find it. Hikvision, access control, video intercom, and you've got second generation video intercom. It should be on here. Security 2, modular, or modular door station. B, trade button functionality there. So again, customized firmware. If you open up the release notes, it's all there. It tells you what it's compatible with. Adding a trade button. This is the schedule that we're on now, and then press button to call trade button. It's as simple as that. It really, really, really is. If I just close these down, guys, but that's the release notes. All you need to do is you've now got this trade button functionality, which is in purple. Just simply select it and just simply drag it to the days and times, and it can be multiple times in the day. So if you've got a bin collection between 5 and 9, and then you've got the post between 11 and 1, you can put multiple times there. So just select trade button, select the times, the days in the week through the schedule, and click save. Any schedule time that is in purple, when they press that button, which is the main master button, it will simply open the door without ringing an indoor station. It really is as simple as that. There is nothing more to it. That is it. So you can have the indoor station is in red, center, which is the software. So what I've done here, just to give a visual representation. So on these times, it will call the indoor station assigned to that unit, which is the Android station above it. Between midnight and 6, and then between that and that. And then in between the normal working hours, if somebody presses that master button, it simply does just open the door. And there's a holiday schedule that you can add in as well. And that's it. It's as simple as that. That's the trade button function. You will need to write the trade button on there so people are aware it's a trade button. Anyone who's used a trade button before will be fully aware what it does and how it works. So there's no explanation needed. It is using the firmware and simply programming it through this interface. It's as simple as that. But some of the other functions that you can, or that I really want to point out, is under the intercom, there's where you set the registration password. So when you set the device, first set the registration password. It can be the same as the activation password or completely different. Please do make a note of it. When you add all of the other devices using device management tab there, you need to use that registration password, and it will apply that to the device and it will all match. It prevents anyone tampering with the system or adding in devices without knowing that registration password. It's really important. Password settings. Like I said, we can actually add passwords now that are applicable to the door. So simply, I've added 2 already. And one is for lock 1 and one is for lock 2. So you can actually, if you've got a keypad with a number on it, you can do it with a card. You can assign lock 1 or lock 2, door 1, door 2. And now with a PIN code. So a PIN code you could issue to somebody. They don't have a vehicle. It's the postman. They just need to get through the gate. You can type the PIN code in the door and you can just go through the gate, and it doesn't open the vehicle gate. It's really powerful. These new updates are really adding these functions and features which we've demanded for a long time, but it gives the flexibility that you guys need and have demanded yourselves. Call settings, ringback tones, press button to call. So here's that new backlight setting. So you can turn backlight on, disable, automatic or custom. Now I've turned it on, so the backlight is always on. So all of the keys, all of the name tags are always backlit. It's nice and visible. That's my preference. It's entirely up to you what you do with this. But again, button 1, which is the master, the single button on that camera module, now does this link time schedule. I could change it to the default indoor station all day by default, but I want it to follow this schedule here, which then allows me to use the trade button function, and outside of it, we'll call that unit. Simple as that, okay? And then with the sub modules, these are the other button settings. They will call the linked indoor station applicable to it. It's as simple as that. If you've got a main unit and one indoor station, it's really easy to program. I/O settings, you've got door, input 1, output 2 for the I/O settings. Again, it's really simple stuff here. Output 2, if I do that electric lock, it's now enabled. So under user, if I add a user, you can actually select door 1 or door 2 now, because by default it's disabled. You can just simply enable it. And that is probably all I needed to go through. Submodule done, number setting, nothing more to add there. That's the SIP function. Then access control, door parameters, how long it's enabled for, same with door 2. Open duration, you can set the seconds, and then if you've got elevator control. It's as simple as that, guys. So what I will do now to show you the function, you've seen the trade button function, just to show you it does work. And I go to configuration, go to time, and what we'll do is set the time to, I just call it that, 4:55, and save. I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to go back to the camera, and I should now change the time or force it to out of schedule, which should ring the indoor station. So stay tuned a second just to show you that function working. Okay guys, I'm back over at the call station, the Android station. I've just woken up. This is linked to my Hike Connect account. So when I call this, I can answer on the indoor station or on the Hike Connect account here as normal. It is out of time or out of schedule effective, just to show you it does function as a normal intercom in that, out of schedule mode as you programmed it. So press this instead of the trade button function. That now calls like it should. So as the end user in my apartment or office, I can absolutely just accept the call. It also rings my Hike Connect account on here, so I can take the call if I'm out and answer it. And then if I want, I can open the door here.
The door is open.
feedback, terrible. And now I can just simply accept the call on my phone or the indoor station. It was easier to do it on there. And that's it, effectively. Again, with the passcode function, with the 2 doors, I can open 2 doors from the app. I can open them from the indoor station. And again, using the code, you know, you have to use the hash and then use the code. So I program 1 2 3 4 5. So if I go like hash 1 2 3 4 5.
The door is open.
That's door 1, and then in reverse I can go hash 5 4 3 2 1 hash.
The door is open.
And that would be door 1 or door 2. So again, if you've got a pedestrian gate and a vehicle gate, you can open them independently now. Fantastic update from Hikvision. We're super excited to bring this to you guys because it opens up a lot of applications for you guys effectively, and with all this new stuff they've added, it is really important that we went over this and highlighted it to you. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, comments below, share, and sharing is caring, and we'll see you next week for another how-to video. And if you're at the security event, make sure you pop by, say hello, and if you're at the bar event, even better, we'll grab a beer. See you later, guys.